In this video, I'll be doing Khan Academy's SAT Math Practice, Unit 6 of Medium Algebra. So this is a unit practice test, and it has 10 questions, so let's get started. Marisa, an art gallery owner, gets 40% of the gallery's total monthly sales, S in dollars, or lowercase s in dollars. Her monthly expenses for running her business are $2,500, and she hopes to make a profit of at least $1,000 per year. If profit is defined as the amount earned from sales minus monthly expenses, which of the following inequalities best describes the situation? So let's not look at the answer choices for now and try to create the inequality on our own. So here, let's highlight the important information. So she gets 40% of the gallery's total monthly sales, but we don't know the monthly sales, so it's going to be in a variable S. Monthly expenses are $2,500, and she hopes to make a profit of $1,000, at least $1,000. So when we set this up here, we know that the equation should be greater than or equal to 1,000. Because that's what at least means. She wants to make at least 1,000, so 1,000 or more. And then it says that we can get the profit by minusing sales minus monthly expenses, or the amount earned, her amount earned from sales. So it's gonna be 40% times the S, so 0.40 S. And then minus that 2,500, and that should be the equation. So it should be A. Remember, this is a minus sign right here, so we already can cross out D and cross out B. So it's A. A vegetable stand sells pea pumpkins for $5 each and S squashes for $3 each. On Monday, the stand sold 6 more squashes than pumpkins and made a total of $98. Which system of equation can be used to determine the number of pumpkins and squashes? So let's write our own equation. And so let's highlight some of the important info here. She sells pumpkins for $5 and squashes for $3. And we know that on Monday she sold 6 more squashes than pumpkins, and then she made a total of $98. So we don't know how many pumpkins or squashes she did, but we know that the squashes is equal to however many pumpkins she made plus 6, because it says she sold 6 more squashes than pumpkins. And then, so this is a systems of equation, so it's 2 equations here. This was probably going to be the first equation, and then the second equation is going to be how much money she made, which is 5p, because we don't know how many pumpkins, plus 3s, then amount of squashes, and this equal to a total of $98, which is what is told she made. And so that should be the systems of equations. So this says 3p, so this is wrong because squashes is 3 and not pumpkin. This also says 3p, so this should be wrong. So it's going to be one of these two. Their difference is the second equation. It should be squash is equal to pumpkin plus 6. And so it should be C. And if you want, you can read the explanations that I'm showing you guys here. So pause the video if you would like. If 153 is equal to 2 parentheses Z plus C times N, then what is the value of 2N times parentheses 2Z minus 193. So let's simplify this first equation here, because I can see that we can, looking at the Z plus Z. So that's an arrow. So it can simplify to 153 is equal to 2 times 2Z times N. And so 2 and N would multiply to each other. 2z is equal to 153. And so we know that this right here is going to equal to 153 because when we simplified this equation, it came out to this equaling to 153, and we can see this equation also here too. And so it should be, now we can put it as 153 minus 193, and that's going to give us negative 40. So the systems of equation here. Consider the given systems of equation. If L, comma M is a solution to the system, then what is the value of L times M? Okay, so really all we have to do is put it into the calculator. Don't waste your time and try to solve it, I think, unless you're like really quick at math, of course. But yeah, and we see that the coordinates are written into L and M, so we can replace L with X and M with Y. So let's go ahead and do that here. So 3 minus Y is equal to 2. X minus. And so here the system of equation gives us 5, 1, and so L must be 5 and M must be 1. And if we multiply 5 times 1 is going to give us 5. Floyd is an aspiring music artist. He has a record contract that pays him a base rate of $200 a month and an additional $12 for each album he sells. Last month, he earned a total of $644. How many albums did Floyd sell last month? Okay, so let's set up an equation here based on what we're given. So he gets paid a base rate of $200 a month and an additional $12 for each album he sells. And now we're given that last month he sold a total of $644. So the total is gonna be $644, and he gets a base rate of $200 a month, and we know that they told us it's last month, so that's $644 he got was only in 1 month. So he was paid only $200 for a base rate, and then plus an additional $12 for each album he sold, but we don't know how many albums, so it's X. And so we just solve for X because we're trying to find the amount of albums he sold, which is X, so minus 200 on each side. And if we put 444 divided by 12 into the calculator, that's going to give us 37. And so X is equal to 37, and he sold 37 albums last month. So 37. A line is graphed in the XY plane shown above. Which of the following is an equation of the line? Okay, so we just looking at the graph, we can see that it has a y-intercept of, let's write this, 0, -4. So that's a y-intercept. And using the y-intercept, we can kind of like find a slope. So obviously the line is going down, so it's negative. And so we have 1 into where we can see the next point, which seems to be here. And if we're unsure, we can also go the other way. The points are really very close in this equation here. Like this one right here, we can see it's almost a point, but it's not nearly a point. So I think the point goes here. This one's pretty darn close. Yeah, it looks like this is probably the point here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We see a slope is 6/7, and it's negative 6/7. And then we can check on this side too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So it's negative 6/7, which is a slope. And now we can set up the equation. It's going to be y is equal to negative 6/7x minus 4, which is the y-intercept. and that should be our answer. That should be A. But of course, when you're doing this, try to do it pretty quick. We know it's not C and it's not D because that shows a positive slope, and then we know it's not plus, the y-intercept is not +4 because that +4 would be up here, and then we get A super quick. In which of the following does the shaded region represent the solution set in the xy plane to the systems of inequalities? Okay, so all we have to do is plug it in and the calculator will give us the answer. Like, Desmos is just like is really like super clutch at times. So that's the first equation and the second equation. And so we see that both of the equations are shaded in this area right here. If we see a graph looking like that. So it's not A, and okay, look, so far it's looking like it's B. Yep, it's not C, only purple is shaded here, and it's not D, none of them are shaded there. A, only black is shaded up there, so it's B. When Lucia plays golf at the Rolling Hills golf course, she loses about 12 balls on average. When she plays golf at the Meandering Meadows golf course, she loses about 8 balls on average. If Lucia lost approximately 100 balls after playing at Rolling Hills R times, and so with the given info, so at Rolling Hills, she loses about 12 balls. When she plays on Meandering Meadows, she loses about 8 balls. And if she lost approximately 100 balls after playing at both places, Rolling Hills and Meandering Meadows, so we know Rolling Hills is about 12 balls, so we can say 12R plus 8M, which is the average she loses at Meandering Meadows, and she lost approximately 100 in total at both of the places, and so this right here should be our equation. So looking at this, we can cross off the ones that are 100% not correct. We know this is not correct because 8 should be M for Meandering Meadows, and this one's wrong too, and we know it's a plus sign, so it's not C, and so it should be B. A park shaped like a pentagon has 4 equal length sides and 1 unequal side whose length is 35 feet. The perimeter of the park is 195 feet. What is the length in feet of one of the equal length sides? Okay, so a park is shaped like a pentagon and has 4 equal length sides, and then there's 1 unequal side, which we know the length of. So all we have to do is subtract that unequal side by the total perimeter, which is 195. So 195 minus 35, and it's going to give us a number. And then all we have to do is divide that by the number of equal sides, which is 4, and it would give us that number which all the equal sides are equal to. So if I draw a pentagon here, let's say this one right here is the unequal side. And so the unequal side is 35 feet, and then the rest of the sides are going to equal to x because they're all equal. And so basically the perimeter would be like 4x plus 35 is going to equal to 195. That's basically the perimeter because we're adding all of these. We don't know them, so 4x plus 35 is equal to 195. And if we're solving for x, all we have to do is minus 35 on each side. And that's going to give us 160. So 4x is equal to 160, and all we have to do is divide that by 4. And if you look at that, that's basically what I showed you at our first equation. It's basically the same thing. See, we minus 195 minus 35, and then whatever we got, we would divide it by 4, which is what I did here. And so 160 divided by 4 is going to give us 40. And so the length of one of the equal sides is 40 feet. Manon's statistics professor puts a bonus question on every test, which adds 0.25 or 0.25 points to a student's overall grade at the end of the term. The equation gives Manon's current overall grade T after taking into account Q extra. After taking into account Q extra credit, questions answered correctly. What does the 87 mean in this equation? The important info here, we know that each bonus question is 0.25. We know Q is the number of extra credit answered correctly, and then multiply that by 0.25 is going to give us the points for extra credits. And based on the problem, so 87 is his average after taking a certain amount of tests, and then whatever bonus he got gives us his current grade. So 87 should be his grade before the extra credit. Manon must get 87 or above to pass. That's wrong. Did not say anything about that in the problem. Manon's average is an 87 before adding the extra credit. Looks like B is going to be correct. C, after adding in her extra credit, Manon's average is 87. No, that's wrong because T is after adding the extra credit, not 87. Then Manon's professor gave 87 opportunities for extra credit this term. No, because we don't know how many. The answer should be B. So that was Unit 6 of Medium Algebra. Hopefully that helped. Obviously I couldn't go over every question because Khan Academy is randomized questions. But thank you so much for watching, and of course good luck on that test.